NFL.com released a list of players who will be facing a make-or-break season in 2021. Ezekiel Elliott came in at number 4 on the list after he finished with career lows in yards per game, yards per carry, and total touchdowns. So, Shannon, will this year be make or break for Zeke?
Skip, we don't normally see running backs after they lose it ever regain it, because a lot of that has to do with sometimes the line gets old. And the running back is just a position, Skip. When you get that kind of mileage on you and you have those years, it's just hard to get it back. And what we've seen from Zeke, you've highlighted this on numerous occasions, we see where he was his rookie year and then his second year, third year, even though he missed, he would have led the league in rushing again, although he led the league in yards per game. He missed those, 6 games? He had an okay, he bounced back. But then we still see it keep creeping towards down, not up. And that's not good. But I think the biggest reasons why this is going to be break, Skip, you don't pay a guy $40 million and say, well, hand it off to the running back 25, 30 times a game. You're thinking about taking Jared's infatuated with Kyle Pitts. So if you got Kyle Pitts, you got Amari Cooper, you got C.D. Lamb and Michael Gallup, Skip, what the hell you think you're going to do with the football? You going to run it 25, 30 times, or you going to throw it 35, 40 times?
50 times.
Okay, exactly. So he's in a very precarious predicament. But the simple fact is his age, he's not the same back. I don't believe we're ever going to see that Zeke we saw his first 2 years. And when you combine that with where they're going offensively, you just gave a quarterback the most money in the history of the game to sign. The second most guaranteed money, Skip, $40 million a year. And you say, you know what? Hey, $40 million guy, we want you to turn around and hand the ball to Zeke, or we want you to turn around and hand the ball off 30 times a game. I don't see that happening, Skip. I don't see Zeke bouncing back, a part of it because of the mileage that's on his body, but also the use that they're going to be using. I don't think they use him like they once did. And so the combination of those two things, I don't see it happening.
I'm going to remind you, Mr. Sharp, that going back 2 years ago, I kept saying, I don't see it anymore. I don't know what happened to my guy Zeke. And you kept saying, he's fine. He's still Zeke.
He was still Zeke.
And now you've come full circle around to it's going to be bust, right?
It's going to be hard, Skip, to get it back. It's going to be hard.
Okay.
The offensive line is not what they once were. Skip, they good, but they're not, Skip. They don't dominate like they once did. Used to come in here and talk about, I got the best offensive line in football. We dominate time of possession.
Now I could have a top 5 offensive line if they all stay healthy.
Exactly.
Okay. I never thought it would come to this quickly. And I remind you, Zeke is only still 25 years of age.
That's crazy.
I know, he's 25. He does turn 26 on July 22nd, so he'll play next year at 26. But it's still crazy.
Yes!
It's crazy that he is now my X factor for how far my Cowboys go next year. Can they win the division? We got a bunch of cases bet on that.
Yes.
I say yes, maybe by default. But I'm going to go make for him, not break for him next year, but I do so without the usual courage of my conviction. I'll just tell you straight up, I'm barely hanging in with make instead of break because I don't have anything to back it up except that Dak is back in the saddle.
Right.
And that's his best friend, and that's his inspiration. And maybe if Dak can come back full force, 100% or even 98% healthy off his 2 ankle surgeries, then maybe it re-inspires Zeke to get in a little better shape in training camp after the pandemic with no camp. Maybe he's sort of faded out through that, so to speak. And, you know, we can almost trace his demise back to when he came back from Cabo and got his money. And Jerry caved in, just like he did with Dak in the end, but at least it wasn't a $40 million a year cave. It was a $15 million a year cave, but that was the most running back money paid to anybody in football, right? Highest paid running back, 6 years, at least it's 6 years. Dak's only 4 years. Dak took Jerry to the bank and the cleaners all at once, all at once. Zeke went 6 years, so you can spread it out. You still got to pay that piper down the line, but you spread it out 6 years, $90 million, $15 million a year, $50 million guaranteed. Dak got $126 million guaranteed.
That guy said Dak got 75 in the first year.
75 in the first year. So I'll remind everybody, because as painful as it is to remember this, you have to put it in this context and perspective. When this man was a rookie, he took this league over.
He led the league in rushing.
He led it in rushing. He averaged 109 yards a game.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, he had 200-plus yard games total. Those are my 2 blips, not trends, blips.
Right.
So I'm hoping for 5 blips next year, 500-plus yards. So he goes 109 a game in his rookie year, and they go 13-3 in large part because of that 109.
Correct.
And then it's 98 the second year, not bad.
98 is not bad.
Another Pro Bowl year.
Yes.
And then it's 96 the third year, not terrible. And then all of a sudden he gets paid, and it drops to 85, and then it drops last year to hitting bottom at 65 yards a game. 65 a game for Ezekiel Elliott, the highest paid running back in pro football. Pro Football Focus, your favorite website, ranked him 46th among running backs last year. An overall grade, 46. 46th? And you're the highest paid? 2 plus 2 equals, I lose.
It ain't adding up.
It adds up to, what were they, 6 and 10?
6 and 10.
Okay, there you go. And my least favorite stat in the history of the Dallas Cowboys was what happened during 2019, when I still thought they were a really good football team. They got off to that rip-roaring start, 3-0. And then Dak and Jerry went to war over the contract, and you know what happened down the stretch. They went 5-8 down the stretch.
Yeah.
But the key stat there was on first down, he had Zeke had the second most carries on first down in the league, and his yards per carry on first down averaged 18th. Well, there's another 2 plus 2 equals 8 and 8. That's what it equaled.
Right.
Okay, so I lost the punch. I lost the ability to hand it to 21 and have things happen that nobody could produce in the league.
But let me ask you this, Skip. How do you know if he's going to come back? If you have the receiver, Pro Football Focus says you have the best set of receivers in the NFL.
They did.
You just played a quarterback $40 million a year. So how will you know, considering what you're going to do? It's going to be hard for a running back. When you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Travis Kelce, you have Tyreek Hill, for a running back to get 1,400 yards in that offense, Skip, because they throw it. So how will we know if Zeke is what you think or what you hope he to be?
Okay, I tell you this sheepishly, but yesterday I read a story that Zeke has posted on social media, photoshopping that he might go to number 15. Again, the league has not allowed numbers below 20 for running backs. It had to be 20 to 49.
Right.
Well, they're going to vote on a rule that would allow the running back numbers to go below 20.
Right.
At Ohio State, he wore 15.
Right.
And I'm going to remind everybody, down the stretch of that year, what year was that, 2014?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2014. Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin, 220 yards. Alabama in the national semifinal against St. Nick's defense, 230. And then against Oregon in the national championship game, 246. Maybe if he puts 15 back on, I'll get 150 out of it. I don't know, because that's all I'm clinging to right now is I need that guy. I need a little dose of that guy.
But I don't know, Skip, is the NFL going to let all these guys just switch numbers like that? Because what are they going to do with the 21s? What everybody, oh, I want this single-digit number. I want this number. What the NFL going to say, hold on. We had all these numbers printed up with Beckham and this one on the back, Skip. What are we going to do with these jerseys?
Well, it's a great way to sell more jerseys, right?
Yeah, but, Skip, I don't want a jersey that the guy don't no longer represents.
Well,
yeah, I get it from your standpoint, yeah. You see with the NBA, Skip, they got a different jersey on every night. They got like 1,500 different they got a different uniform on every night. I get it, Skip.
Some of the Lakers, like they come out in like Carolina blue, and I'm like, well, that doesn't work.
What does that work? Them and the Miami Heat got more uniforms than anybody I've seen. But Skip, I'm saying though, so what are they going to do if, let's just say Derrick Henry says, I want to be number 2 like he was at Alabama. What are they going to do with them 22 Henrys?
Well, I don't know. You don't think that cha-ching, like for the NFL?
Because the NBA, Skip, they have, if your favorite player get traded, you can go take the jersey back. So do I get to take this 22 back if my favorite player changes his number?
I don't know. So I cling to this. Last year at Minnesota, our game of the year is our best game overall that we played against a pretty good Vikings team. We won 31-28. CD made the catch of the year. Remember all that?
Yes.
In that game, Zeke went 21 times for 103 yards. Wow. He went over 100.
Yeah.
And then in that game against Philly late in the year that they won 37-17.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it was Jalen Hurts. You know,
Yeah.
I got it. He went 19 carries for 105 yards. He went over 100. Those are my only 200-plus games of the year. So if you give me 5 of those next year, I'll say make. You know, I'll say he's quote unquote.
But it's giving you. I mean, there ain't nothing to be. I mean, he had his tongue over the 100-yard line.
He did.
He didn't have his whole. He didn't have a foot or a body. He got 103 and 105.
And the other problem, speaking of tongue hanging out, is that there are too many times the last 2 years where Zeke just waved out of games after a big carry. He'll go for 20 yards, and then he waves to the sideline. I'm like, what are you doing? This is when running backs just wear you out. This is when our man Eric Dickerson said, give me the rock.
Right.
I want to run it down your throat. Okay. I got you on your heels.
Right.
And he's waving out. I can't go anymore.
Well, you know,
what?
Well, maybe he go back to 15, then he won't wave out. You'll be happy about
maybe
that.
21 weighs him down a little too much, plus 6, right?
So you said it's going to be a make year.
Yeah, barely. Okay. Barely make. Well, I got to have something.
Well, then you're going to be mad if it's a make year for Zeke, you're going to be mad at that.
Well, remember, I'm going to have to go with Zeke Pollard because I need Tony Pollard to give me a little bit, too.
Well, if you're going to
subsidize.
Hold on, time out.
I got to.
Well, how you expect Zeke to be Zeke when he got to split carries? He going to split, hold on. He going to split carries, and he going to get less touches because they're throwing the ball.
He has to catch his breath occasionally, right?
Oh, man, the way you talking, it sounds like Zeke about to have 600 yards.
Yeah, maybe.
Skip, do you still have that picture next to your bed, that Zeke pic?
Yep.
Still there? Okay. Just curious about it.
I die hard on these things. Yeah,
okay.
I love hard and die
Still
hard.
on display, trying to make it work. Very
Yep.
superstitious over there. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm going to try to help you guys win.